Good evening, ghosts and ghouls. You're listening to A Horrible Podcast. I'm JT Ripper.
And I'm Todd of Thunder.
And today we're going to be talking about the new series, The Last of Us, based on a popular video game that came out in, I think, 2013, maybe? Not sure. It's a PlayStation exclusive. And I personally have played the game all the way through several times. It's by far my favorite game ever. But Todd has not played the game, so it's going to be two different perspectives. I know what's coming. He doesn't.
Yeah, pretty much. I know about the video game. I've heard about it. I've never played it. But I did, however, sit down and watch this first episode of The Last of Us.
Yep, the first episode, which is titled When You're Lost in the Darkness.
Yeah, which was a reoccurring thing written on the wall throughout the entire episode.
Yeah, because of the Fireflies.
Okay.
It's a group. You'll get associated with them.
Yep, this is on HBO. Let people know that.
Yeah, this is a HBO exclusive.
Homegrown.
Homegrown. It made its debut last Sunday. It has 9 episodes. It's 9 episodes, so it's not going to be too long. So 9 weeks.
Yeah.
Every Sunday it's going to come out with an episode.
And this first episode was actually, like many episodes in the past, especially like the older ones, where the first episode is really like an hour and a half.
It was.
It was more like kind of like a movie, like a television movie almost.
It was, because they had a lot to introduce and kind of get out of the way, but it didn't feel rushed. To me, it didn't. So we start off with Joel and his daughter, Sarah. Well, actually, backtrack a little bit. The introduction to the show goes over this concept of a fungal disease and what it can do inside the host and how it can make you crazy and psychotic and pretty much go insane. It's kind of a new take on a zombie concept. It's different.
Yeah, that type of that virus type of deal that you get so much, like in movies like 28 Days Later. They're not exactly zombies. They're not really bringing people back from the dead, but it's more like infecting people.
Yes, and making them killers. This is actual disease, though. Like, this is actual, like, fungus that takes over bugs and
insects
and makes them go crazy and kill each other and eat each other. And
yeah,
it's an actual thing, but everything that the beginning of the show said is an actual truth. Like, but, you know, what if the disease mutates and, you know, our body heat doesn't keep it at bay?
Right.
And then, boom, here we go.
Yeah, the introduction is actually takes place in like the 60s, and they're actually talking about this stuff. And, you know, it's just to set up like how, you know, there was people that kind of knew that this could possibly happen like all this time. And just because, you know, it's taking all this time to take effect or mutate or whatever, is just giving you the perspective that, you know, somebody, you know, kind of like had an idea about it a long time ago. Because you go from like, I think it was like 1968, 1969, the guy was on the talk show talking about this.
Yeah.
And then you fast forward to 2004.
Yeah.
Where,
so it's not quite present day.
Yeah, it's not quite present day. So you get like 2 timelines right off the bat, kind of like putting in perspective about, you know, what's eventually going to happen in the show and where the show is eventually going to take off.
Right. And when you're playing the video game, it doesn't have the introduction like the guy talking about it and everything. You kind of just find out about it. But I like that. I like that it like was very like short and sweet, but like their representation. I mean, the presentation was like on point.
Yeah, it was pretty cool because right off the bat, you got somebody explaining what this can do and how it can be, and there's like kind of no mystery to it, as like other shows like The Walking Dead.
Yeah, you don't know where the virus break.
Yeah, you still don't know where it came from, and you don't know, is it? I mean, they tease like, is it in the air, blah blah blah, and all this stuff. And this was I like the way they did it. They pretty much explained it, so you got a general idea of, you're not left in the dark like, oh, how's these people, getting in and all this stuff. So I kind of like that part because it kind of just, once you get that out of the way, you can, take off with your actual story.
Yeah, you can start putting more like into the characters versus worrying about this disease. Now we're jumping into 2004 where we're focusing on Joel and his daughter, just enjoying life. And it's Joel's birthday. And, of course, he's being the hardworking father that he is and taking care of his daughter and working on his birthday. And, his brother comes in, Tommy. And, of course, they take way too long. And,
At their job,
construction job. And his daughter goes out to fix his watch for his birthday. And while she's out in the city and she's getting the watch fixed by the watchmaker or whatever you want to call him, and all of a sudden the watchmaker's wife comes in and is like, hey, we need to shut down now. I don't care if the watch is fixed. She's got to go. Something's going on. Something's wrong. And shit's going down. And it's weird. So he's like, whatever, and he fixes the watch, and he was done anyway, and she goes out. And after school, she was supposed to go to the neighbor's house and hang out with the neighbors and everything, because apparently the old lady that likes the daughter to come hang out with her, and they like to bake and stuff like that. And while we're in the house, you see, she's talking to Sarah, the neighbor, and they're making cookies and stuff like that. But you see the grandma in the background that normally is, I guess, active. Something's wrong with her, and you see her like in the background, and all of a sudden, like, she's starting to twitch and everything, and something's wrong, obviously. And then you what is it after?
Basically what happens is Sarah notices this, like, briefly, and she thinks something's wrong, but, it's not too noticeable. So she basically just tells the neighbor, and she's like, my dad will be home here in a little bit. I assume that she probably goes over there because her father works late nights, and the father probably likes for the neighbor to keep an eye on her daughter or his daughter. Anyway, she goes back to her house, and
then you see, like, it cuts back to the grandma, and you see the spores start to come out of the mouth.
Yeah,
like the tentacles type.
Yeah,
spores.
like she it's like a brief moment, but you get like this idea of what's happening. Anyway, the father comes home. He doesn't have the birthday cake, and he basically sits down. I think the daughter, didn't she like borrow a movie or a DVD or something
from the neighbor, his favorite movie?
So they sit down to watch this, and
she gives him his watch.
Yeah, she gives him the watch, and you have like basically character building moments at this point. And she falls asleep, and he gets a call while she's asleep about his brother Tommy, and he's in jail, and he needs him to come get him because it's right there on Friday, and if you don't hurry up and come and get him, he's going to be in jail for all the weekend.
Yeah.
So he kind of puts her in bed, and he heads out, and you kind of get this like little time jump where she like wakes up, and
she's like walking around the house, and
she's probably she's trying to figure out where her dad is because her dad didn't bother to wake her up and tell her, but it's all this strange shit going on. Like the neighbor's dog is out, which is unusual.
Yeah, and she's trying to take the dog back in the house.
Yeah, and that's when she walks back into the neighbor's house and she finds like just
the neighbor dead.
Yeah, or
the male neighbor.
Yeah, like the neighbor that she went to earlier. It's like a guy and a woman. They're kind of middle aged, and then you have the older grandma that they take care of. And they're basically, you see the guy over in the corner, and he's trying to talk, get out or whatever, but he's definitely bleeding out. And she looks down on the kitchen floor, and she sees the grandma just eating the shit out of the woman.
Yeah, just going to town.
At that point, shit's on, and about that time, her father and Tommy pull up in the pickup truck, and they're like, "Let's get the fuck out of here!" And
she runs out of the house, and the grandma chases her, and he like straight up fucking annihilates her.
Yeah, he like hits her with a wrench. That didn't work. He ran her over, and you can see in the rearview mirror, she still gets up.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're kind of establishing like, these things. It's not really established how to stop these things yet, or like what to do because they're constantly getting back up. So I'm pretty sure as the episodes go on, they'll find a permanent way to put people down, I guess.
Yeah, they'll get into that, but yeah. The thing that I liked about it is this is pretty much like video game accurate. Even like him using a wrench. Like, you use a fucking wrench in the game. It's fucking great. But I just wanted to throw that in there. So, they're in the truck. They're hauling ass, and in the background you see, like, a neighbor come out, and, like, she's trying to, like, yell at Joel, like, that, he just killed somebody, and then all of a sudden she gets fucking annihilated by the other clickers. That's what they're called. They're called clickers. They're not called zombies in it. Because they make a clicking sound. It'll come into play later. Anyway, so they're hauling ass, and they're trying to get out of the city and everything. And
the military has came in and quarantined everybody, and basically there's no way out of town.
Yeah. Pretty much did a Resident Evil where they're fucking just taking out everybody.
Yeah, so no matter where they go, highway, in town, there's military people there, and there's no way to get out. And I guess the military, they're trying to figure this thing out too. So they're kind of isolating people. And even if you seem not to be infected, they don't care. They kind of just want. It's one of those things where, you lock down and you kill everybody. You don't take any chances, even though there's innocent people out here.
Yeah.
And that's basically what the government has done. So it's established. Right, it's established right off the bat that
the government doesn't give a fuck.
It doesn't give a fuck, and it's just another way to
control
people and put over the actual title, Last of Us, no hope, no nothing, can't trust anybody, no nothing.
So they're trying to make their way and get through town, and then all of a sudden they get sideswiped. More so a car crash than anything. So they get out of the car crash and everything, and Joel has his daughter, Sarah, in his arms, and he's trying to get her to safety and everything. And they're making their way through town, and they're trying to get away from this fucking just chaos going on. Explosions, guns, people getting shot, people getting eaten, and all sorts of like just chaotic shit going on. So they make their way out of the town, and then they're in this field, and they get confronted by one of the government soldiers, and he makes them stop and everything, and he tells his sergeant, lieutenant, whoever is above him, that he has 2 civilians. You don't hear what the higher-ups say, but you know that they say kill him.
Yeah, you pretty much get a general idea that probably what it was, eliminate all targets or something like that.
Oh, targets and casualties. And, he opens up fire on Joel and his daughter. And then, they roll downhill and everything. Then the soldier comes up to him, and luckily his brother comes out of the blue and saves his ass, shoots the soldier right in the head.
Yeah.
But the damage is done, and Joel's daughter got shot in the crossfire.
Yeah, unfortunately, she gets hit, and they try everything to save her, and
she's just screaming bloody murder.
Well, yeah.
The actress did an amazing job. Like, I knew that this was coming, and I still was like, oh God.
Yeah, for somebody that don't play the game or whatever, I was surprised that Sarah was killed because, she did such a good job. I thought that she was going to be established as one of the main characters.
Right.
But, so it was pretty emotional because you went on a ride with them up until this point, and to see her like that, basically sets up what later happens, which is, after this tragic event, it's 20 years later.
Yeah, and Joel, you see the decline as a person. He was this happy, hardworking dad. Now he's this alcoholic pillhead, just trying to make it and survive, and he's just grizzled and bitter.
Yeah, he definitely has taken an emotional downslide where I guess everything that he cared about in life is kind of gone. So he's kind of just kind of whatever now. He's kind of just accepted that, this 20 years later is basically you have a post-apocalyptic world where you can tell that this outbreak has done damage on the world, and now it's kind of like this Land of the Dead type of deal where the cities are sealed up and people are in it. You get some people are workers, some people are they're just trying to make ends meet. So they become what's the word for it? Scavengers type of deal.
You're pretty much
smugglers.
Yeah, you pretty much is very Mad Max Land of the Dead.
Yeah, it's everything you can think of in a post-apocalyptic, a big disease.
Yeah,
that kind of just
ruined the world.
And this is what's
everybody's
left.
Pretty much, got little odds and ends job that the government issues out, and they give them these little certificates of ration for food, and they treat everybody like shit.
Yeah.
So
you still have a government authority situation, but they're what you think. They're not there to help. They're there to
control
and keep people in order. To a certain extent, the idea of that is reasonable, but not when you treat people the way that they do,
Yeah, and they really drove this home because you see this poor little kid coming up to the I guess community, best way to put it, or where they are set up and stationed at, and they're talking to this kid, and and they're checking him out and everything, and then they wave the scanner over him and it's red, which means he's infected, and they're like, oh, well, we're going to treat you right, and we're going to make you better and everything, and you think, oh, well, they try to, they're trying, and the next scene, they're throwing bodies, and then you see the shoes of the little kid being tossed in, like, the fire with the rest of the bodies.
Yeah, you basically have this little device, and they put it on you. If it's green, you're good. If it's red, you're infected.
Yeah.
Even if you seem fine, they're just not going to take any chances.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much green, you go to work. Red, you're fucked. Just simple as that. So Joel is, he works odds and end jobs, trying to get, I forgot the name of the currency that they use, but anyway, he's making these deals with the soldiers and everything because he goes out and gets stuff and like pretty much drugs and makes deals with them to get a little extra currency, and come to find out that the reason why is because he's trying to get a battery to get a car to go get his brother, because his brother's out there because he's with this group called the Fireflies. I said that terribly wrong. And the conflict ensues because his girlfriend, Teresa, I think.
I don't remember her name.
She gets her ass beat by these guys that took the money and the battery and sold it, and they're afraid that, when Joel finds out, he's going to come kill them. Rightfully so.
Yeah, pretty much.
So they, Joel and his girlfriend, devise a plan to go get the battery back, the money back, and kill these guys. But come to find out, the guys are already dead. They run across Marlene, the leader of the Fireflies, which has Ellie chained up. And they have her separated from everybody because she plays a very big, important part, and they need her alive at all cost.
Yeah. Like I said, looking at it from perspective of I don't know the game, I just see like this little girl chained up or whatever. I don't know who she is. I don't know her importance. I don't know why she's being held. I don't know what her importance is, but she's something.
Well, that comes in a little later in the episode. So, Marlene makes a deal with Joel that if they deliver Ellie to this safe point for the Fireflies, that they will give them ammo, guns, vehicle, so that they can go find his brother. They make a deal with her. They say, bada bing, bada bang, we'll deliver Ellie. Well, come to find out, as they're coming to the end of the episode, as they're going out and everything, the guy that Joel gives the drugs to, the soldier, finds them outside during curfew time. And if you're outside during curfew, you're fucked. You're dead. You're going to get killed.
Yep.
So he makes him get on the knees, and Joel's like, what the fuck are you doing? You just let us go. As simple as that. No, I got to follow protocol or it's my ass. So he waves the thing on him. Joel's good. His girlfriend's good. Then, if you pay attention, waved it over Ellie. It's red. So, he starts freaking out and everything. Well, Ellie fucking stabs the soldier in the leg. Soldier winds up dying. And the girlfriend's freaking out and everything. Ellie's saying, I'm good, I'm fine. She got bit a couple weeks ago, but everything's healed up. And that's pretty much where the episode ends off at.
Yeah. After she stabs him in the leg, he points the gun and, what's his name, Joel?
Joel.
Yeah, Joel kind of has a flashback of when the soldier was pointing a gun at him and his daughter. So he kind of tackles him and just kind of basically beats him to death.
He did beat him to death, yeah.
And yeah, he beat him to death, and he kind of comes to his senses a little bit, like, holy shit, what have I done? And they finally get through the fence, and they're off into the city of unsafeness.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very unsafe. It's going to be where you run into the clickers and everything.
Just my thoughts on it. I assume that the reason why this little girl is being kept alive is because she hasn't turned yet and she's healing, and she's probably like nobody else has done that. And that's what I pretty much like thought. They don't say that, but that's what I'm like, my knowledge of like these types of movies, that's more than likely the case.
You're on point.
So, but
they think she's the cure.
Yeah, they're like, she's the Malkovich from Resident Evil.
Yeah, pretty much, exactly. She's the golden child. And I'm personally not gonna like go into spoilers or anything like that, like so far into the episodes and stuff like that, because I know what's going on. But I'm not gonna do that, because I'm going to enjoy the ride also. And as a guy that played the game, this fucking episode was like almost like shot for shot accurate in the first like opening of the game. Fucking beautifully done. I know some people had problems with like race swapping characters. To you, I say eat a dick, because this is the perfect situation of like, when an actor or actress is good, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Coming again from somebody not familiar with the game.
You didn't even know this.
No, it doesn't affect me at all. I just go off of what I've seen, and all the characters that were established, I think each one of them played their role really good. One of the good things is, like, I watched this episode. It's not hard to follow. It's very like, okay, this is what's going on, and these are characters, and you know what I mean? It's nothing like, well, I don't know really what that meant or this meant or whatever. It's very like,
it's very in front of you.
Yeah, it's in front of you. It's not like, I'm sure there's things that are going to be revealed later on, but it's not like a frustrating, like, what's going on. It's like, oh, well, what's going to happen next? And I think they did a good job. I think for the first episode, which is more like a mini movie, honestly.
Yeah.
It established everything it needed to do. It established the background to the characters. Apparently, it worked for the video game lovers and people not familiar with the video games. It did a good job for them, because I'm in that group and I'm curious for the next episode. So I think it did a good job.
Yeah, it knocked the ball right out of the park. I mean, this is how you make a video game adaptation. Anybody that is watching Last of Us, take notes. This is how you do it. The game sets it up. Like, you can change little things here and there, but keep to the main details, and you got a home run. And I love this. I personally give the first episode a 9.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I'll give it that.
Yeah. But we want to say thank you for tuning in on this first episode of The Last of Us, and we're going to continue with the rest of this series.
Absolutely. We'll be reviewing each and every week, episode after episode, so, it's interesting. This is coming from somebody who doesn't know much about the video game, and I can tell you that, it's got my interest. I'll be watching.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm JT Ripper.
And I'm Todd of Thunder.
He says toodaloos.
Toodaloo.
Toodaloos.